Coming to you from the Apogee Grafix studios, this is the Business and Beyond podcast on Next Gen Media. I'm Ashton.
And I'm Tony.
Coming off of a break, an off week. We're talking
unplanned off week
at that. What do we call this? We're calling it Snowvid-21.
Yeah, Snowmageddon or...
Yeah, I've heard Snowmageddon. Yeah, so if you didn't know, those of y'all who didn't, we are located in North Texas, so we were able to do the show last week. It was just
there
very
were just a lot of things
dangerous transportation. I know you dealt with no power for some time. Both of us had no water for a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that scary for us. It was a lot worse for some people than it was for us. We both of us were pretty lucky. Had family members.
Yeah, that we could rely on. We ended up going to my in-laws' house. Like you said, we were out of power for 2 days and had used up all of our firewood, and
so this studio
source was gone.
Would have lost power, but I couldn't keep it above like 35 degrees in here. So
it
wouldn't have been a good show.
We were in the negatives outside, plus wind chills and
there
was just so many things that were more important to for us to focus on. So.
And just the difference in a few days. A couple days ago.
Now we're wearing shorts.
Yeah, it's about 70 degrees right now here in Texas. And it was negative wind chill a few days ago. I think last Monday, 6 days ago, it was -1 was the temperature. Forget the wind chill. It was probably -15 or 16.
Yeah. Yeah, this was crazy. So sorry we missed you guys. Wish we could have done it. And we even are kind of set up we could do remote, but I didn't have power, so that would have been tough.
Yeah, there were a lot of things going on. It would have just been better to skip than give you crappy content.
Yeah. But going forward, we will have that power because I'm getting a backup generator system in my house. So
if anything, this taught us not to rely so much on the government.
Yeah.
I mean, not to go full prepper on anybody.
Yeah.
Doomsday prepper or anything, but we're gonna be a little more prepared with water. That actually
came in handy for us. I do have not full out prep, but I have like a bug out bag type setup, more of like a primitive hiking bag, with some essential stuff in it, fire starting and stuff, which came that we needed. We kind of dug that bag out, and we had some stuff, flashlights, batteries, and all the things that we needed for that. So.
Well, I thought we had enough firewood, but you don't realize how much you use when you're constantly running a fire. We had what I thought was plenty of water, but I went to the store multiple times buying gallons and gallons of water, and 4 people in our house, 5 people actually, you go through water quicker than you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, luckily it was a snow issue, so we took snow in to melt, or you could run the toilets without water, but just showering and cooking and drinking, you go through a lot of water.
I went too many days without a shower, and you do. You don't realize the amount of water you use trying to make tea or lemonade or cooking, trying to wash dishes and clean. That's what we ran into. We didn't have any paper products for like utensils or plates or anything. So we were able to. We had power restored Monday. This is Monday, for a short amount of time, like a 2-hour period. So my wife cooked dinner. Luckily, it was on, so we started dinner, got it cooked, and then the power went off as soon as we got dinner finished. So we
saw a couple of videos.
We had a stew, so we made bowls, and we had all this. We ate. Power's out. Oh, then we lose water. Then it's like, oh crap! Now we don't even have a way to wash our dishes.
Yeah, we saw a couple of videos. I think it was on Instagram about one of those cooking shows where you have like 20 minutes to make something out of these.
20 minutes.
And that's pretty much it is when your power turns on, you grab whatever you have.
Yeah, that was
just
what it
make
was.
something.
I mean, luckily, we had a plan we used the Instapot, and we had a plan that, hey, this is what we're going to have assuming we get power. And as soon as it came on, and at that time, we actually thought we were going to keep power. We didn't know that it was going to go. And at that point, I think we were out of power for 10 hours. And then it came back on. We throttled back on the amount of wood we were keeping going in the fireplace. And it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock on Monday. It went right back off and didn't come on. I don't don't know. We ended up leaving. We ran out of firewood on Tuesday. We ended up leaving, going to my in-laws' house then. They never lost power, luckily. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a good 48 hours that our house didn't have, or more. I mean, we weren't there the whole time.
Some people are experiencing.
From Monday, and I think there's still issues around the state with people without power. So we definitely feel for them.
Well, luckily, or hopefully luckily, I know we don't have it, but hopefully none of y'all have. Gritty is your power supply at wholesale power, because power company.
It seems like it was a good solution, right, for people that had it. That you pay wholesale pricing. I don't know exactly how it was. You fluctuated. Whatever the market value was.
High, it goes up.
Yeah, it went up, or when it wasn't, it was low. So, which is cool, a fluctuating electric bill. But until a situation like this one, I think they were saying like $9 a kilowatt hour.
So it's $9,000 a kilowatt hour, or something like that.
I think it was $9 per kilowatt hour. I pay like 9 cents a kilowatt hour in my contract. So yeah, people had, 1, 2. I think I saw one, the guy that had multiple meters at his house. It was like a $10,000 electric bill. Yeah, I mean talk about price gouging. I mean that's insane.
That's a legal way to price gouge though, because you agree to it.
Yeah, you did agree to it, and that's the problem.
Speaking of price gouging, there's those you don't know. There's laws against that to protect you from that. So, we're gonna play this quick video. Somebody, I think it's in Central Texas.
I think so. Nueces County. This is their district attorney.
This applies to everybody in the state of Texas.
The Nueces County District Attorney has a warning for anyone taking advantage of Texans in the wake of this winter weather crisis.
You see somebody in Nueces County marking up a hotel room, you let us know, all right? Because that is illegal. And I promise you, I've seen it on the news. There are instances where they're putting $400 a night, $900 a night. That's going to be unacceptable, and we're not going to stand for it, and we will prosecute them.
DA Mark Gonzalez took to Facebook Live, as you saw there, to let people know they can contact his office to report suspected cases of price gouging. Gonzalez says if you see someone or business charging higher than normal prices, to also call the local police department or sheriff's office. He also encourages everyone to save your receipts and document situations that arise, then send an email to nuecesda@nueces.com with price gouging in the subject line.
Yeah, and that's something that, like you said, anywhere in the state, really I assume all states are like that. But
the Texas Attorney General's office, you just email them with that situation. I didn't see much of it through this crisis, but I know with Hurricane Harvey, there were guys driving down there with truckloads of water and selling bottles of water for $10.
Yeah, just taking advantage. Yeah, I mean, I know something like all the gas stations around here ran out of fuel, and now they have it back, and it's like, and I know it's a supply and demand thing, but it's like 30 cents higher than it was a week ago. Gas is. Yeah. Because we filled up our vehicles with knowing some of this was coming in. We're like, well, we'll go ahead and fill up so we have it, because you know how people go out and rush out and get it. You didn't realize it was going to be a situation where the trucks just couldn't get there to fill it up, and we were paying, it was here in North Texas, somewhere around $2.09, I think is what we paid for it. And now, today I saw it's $2.39, which that's more of a supply and demand thing.
There's a percentage there that with everything, I don't know if it's all the same throughout every industry, but I know with back when it was Hurricane Harvey, anybody over $3.99, it was a little higher back then. To report them if it was over $3.99, but there's a certain percentage they can't go over.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but that's information you can probably get off the Attorney General's.
Yeah, but I think that could be the same with any of the commodities, the milks and eggs and, anything that they mentioned in that clip, hotel rooms. People were having to leave their houses to go find warmth. Well, what other choice do you have? Yeah. If that's the only hotel available and they're going to charge $400 a night, you're going to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, there's a fine line between supply and demand and just, being ethical.
Taking advantage of somebody, yeah. And we hope that none of our listeners, business owners would, are going to do anything like that either, knowing people are in need, that they wouldn't try to take advantage of them in that situation.
Well, a lot of it, too, there wasn't really I don't know that there was a gas shortage technically, but that part of it where people started talking about it was near the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So there may be a slot there where they're just saying, hey, gas demand is up and supply is low, so they naturally raise it. I'm sure it has to do with declaring an emergency or something with the government doing like that, where you can't start raising them up.
Yeah,
it's a slippery slope, really. I mean, because some business owners they may be getting gouged themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They may just, that's what price they have to sell it for to make any money.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
right.
It just depends, because if the gas stations are paying outrageous prices for fuel, maybe they're not making that much. It just depends.
Yeah, and I think you could even see the supply, and you may see the trickle down in like generators and systems like that people now are they rushed out and bought, that you can't hardly find anything anywhere now. A lot of stores are out of stock on generators. That may push up the demand a little. The pricing on that starts to go up too.
Yeah, and it really depends, though. I mean, I don't want to say non-educated, but not people who don't really follow economics or business, they may just look at somebody taking advantage of it. But a business owner saying, okay, hey, I'm out of this, I have to get some in, they're paying extra for shipping, or you even go down the supply of the manufacturers, they're paying extra to have their people work overtime to build up to that demand. That's really why supply and demand. I mean, you can break it down and oversimplify it and say, okay, demand's up, supply is down, demand is up, that you're going to raise the price, but it's really you're doing all those extra steps.
Yeah, what is your cost
so
to
you
get
have
to that level? Yeah.
Now, there are people taking advantage of it. I'm not saying that, hey, just understand it, just buy it for what it is. No, some things are just outrageous, like paying $10 for a bottle of water or whatever, or $900 a night, or really anything. I mean, I think hotel industry's trying to cash in on this, because this is right after all this COVID, one of the worst years in business history. I mean, I know restaurants up here, they're talking about they lost money. They lost thousands of dollars just because Valentine's Day, every place was shutting down because it was cold and there was snow.
They were looking forward to.
Yeah. So that's just an extra kick in the gut.
Yeah, and I'm hoping now you see, I mean, we did a lot because we were out of power. And then once power was restored, we were out of water with a very low trickle. We ate out more than we normally do, just so that we didn't have dishes and cleanup, and we didn't have the issues. I mean, we're under a boil notice now on the water, and it was just a lot of hoops to jump through, so it was a lot easier for us. So we hope that people are going out now and supporting some of those businesses that were shut down.
Yeah, and I think they are just today, yesterday and today. Just you can tell there's so many.
And we'll get into it a little bit,
little
bit later in the show too. I want to talk about that more with businesses and kind of being prepared for something like this. Kind of what we just went through in 2020. Businesses being prepared. It kind of had to help prepare us for this. But one of the businesses I really want to kind of highlight, give a shout out to, when we talk about the price gouging and you talk about wanting to support your local business, man. One, it's this business. They're not even an affiliate of ours. I mean, they're someone locally we know of. We haven't crossed paths with them any. We've seen them, but we haven't actually done business with them yet at this point, because I can tell you I'm going to reach out and I'm going to do some business with these guys. It's D-Ray's Mobile Detailing. Through the midst of all of this, in our town with no water, he does mobile detailing. He had a water tank for his mobile detailing. He was filling that up and going out and pumping water out to people's buckets or containers, whatever they needed for non-potable, water for flushing toilets or whatever you needed. And for someone like that, just being selfless, to go out and use his equipment, to help get water to people. And he mentioned on Facebook just to let him know if you were out of water and you needed it, you need some help, let him know, and he would do that.
Yeah, doing the exact opposite of price gouging, just giving stuff away for free.
He's giving it away for free. He's going out, the water company, because the pumps were down with the electric, and there's just the whole issue there. that they had water, and I guess he had gone up there and talked to them, teamed up with them, where they would put water in his tank, and he would go around and give people water. I mean, I think that's huge. That says a lot about somebody that's willing to sacrifice. Someone that's been out of work for a whole week. I mean, he easily could have been trying to charge people to deliver water, right? Like, that's what everyone else
nobody
would think.
Nobody would have said anything. I mean, if he wasn't price gouging or doing anything like that, nobody would have
just
thought,
to do
like,
it. But he was going out. He was literally saying, "Hey, if you need it, let me know. I'll bring it to you." You know, he's going out spending his hard-earned money. You know, fuel, equipment. He's been out of business for a week, right? Everyone's been shut down for a week, and this guy went out and just helped his community, helped put back in the community. And that's someone that you hope people are going to go out now and support this business and all small businesses. They all hurt through this.
Yeah. And you've seen some people doing that with firewood too. I went somewhere and picked up some firewood for free when we were running out. Some people were parking in gas station parking lots and trucks, just giving it away.
Yeah.
Same with water, bottles of water. They had it at the fire station at City Hall and things like that. And that's what you need to do, because a lot of people are out of work for this week. Not everyone works on salary when you get paid by the hour.
Yeah. And
you can't work. They're shut down. You're not getting paid. That's just like D-Rays was. Now not only price gouging is people have to pay for water. I mean, going out and buying waters. Now we were talking about earlier, my wife and I, our water bill is going to be down a little bit, but all that money we saved, we double and spent buying bottles of water and gallons of water. And when people are out, because a gallon of water, you buy it for like 90 cents or something like that. But when stores are out and all the stores are closing at 5 p.m. So one night I stopped at Walgreens, got as much as I could in like quarts of water, like just drinking water, not gallons, and 2 different QTs, and I probably spent $25. I got 4 or 5 gallons total. But when you're buying little bits like that, not buying it all at once, it adds up, and not everyone can do that. Not everyone can afford that. Forget the availability; it was either can't pay for it.
I guess it was Thursday when our power was restored, and we knew it was good. We were coming home. We didn't know we didn't have water at the time. I left my mother-in-law's. I went and stopped at a few stores to stock up on a few, because our power had been out for so long. When we left, our fridge had already started dropping temperature, so we lost everything in our fridge. We had to pull milk,
outside in the snow.
Everything. Yeah. Well, we did take the milk and like orange juice. We started setting some things, and they were freezing. I was like, okay, well. So we pretty much lost everything. So I was like, we're gonna go get some basics, some milk, and we need water now because of drinking, because we don't know if we have any. And I went to Walmart; they didn't have any, and I did like you did. I started buying because stores weren't getting deliveries.
They have to catch back.
So luckily, I had like all the, it's like not the electrolyte water, but the like pH balance type, liters of water. I forget what the brand of the one
Alkaline
I got was.
Something like that.
The alkaline water.
The
alkaline water. So nobody was touching those. So I got like 6 of the big liters and thought, well, at least we'll have some drinking water. And then I stopped by Albertsons. Luckily, they did have some, so I got a couple cases of water then. But yeah, that was. It's something that's hard to prepare for, as an individual.
Yeah.
Especially in Texas, you don't imagine that a snowstorm. I mean, it's been 5 years since we've had anything even remote to this.
Yeah.
So you just don't expect that. So then when it sneaks up on you and sneaks up on everyone, then you're trying to stock up. And then as bad as the roads were, trucks couldn't make deliveries. So could you imagine a business
and
having to prepare for being shut down?
Especially a small business, because if you've been any kind of situation where I work in sales, and I know the smaller businesses don't get the same treatment they should. Because I know when my customers, who are smaller customers, are getting loads pushed based on bigger customers, it just is what it is. Most of the time, it's not as a big deal. People just understand that's how it works. But when you have issues arise and things, like this weather or whatever, this COVID economy, then it really rears its ugly face, and you see it, and people get screwed over. And so I can only imagine that it's going to be pretty bad for small businesses this week in terms of getting inventory in, because who's the priority right now? Walmart, Kroger, just whoever your small business is, whatever your small business is,
Yeah.
trying to get whatever inventory. Just think of your competitors, the huge
Yeah.
corporations. They're going to get first priority because they're the big, and you know, what you think maybe it should be that way, you know, just because they have the bigger customers, whatever. But it does screw people over, and it makes things harder. And that's why I always say, try to support your small business, because now you're going to go try to do it, and they're not going to have what you want, and you're going to get frustrated and say, screw it, this is why I shop at Walmart.
Yeah. Well, you know, you mentioned that. I said that we were eating out. We went to, just because it was convenient for us and the lines do move fast, we went to Chick-fil-A. I think that was on Thursday. So just
the long line, it took longer than usual, didn't it?
Not really. But what the issue was is they didn't have any cold stuff.
Okay.
No wraps, no salads, no, you know, they did have lettuce and tomatoes. I don't know if they were limiting it for only sandwiches and stuff, but they had a limited menu is what it was. So we got up. I mean, my daughter wanted her side. She wanted to substitute a salad for her fries, and that, you know, the lady felt bad. She was like, "Yeah, we don't have any cold," and it's like, "Yeah, okay, that's fine." I mean, at that point, we just needed food, so it wasn't a big deal. But you know, unfortunately, somebody would be a little more understanding with someone like Chick-fil-A or a big business, big corporation, than they would a small business. A small business, they would get frustrated with them. You know, like right now, I ordered materials before all this happened that should have been shipping. They're stuck somewhere in transit because of all this happened. So I have materials for my small business that I can't get, and now I've got deadlines coming up this week, and it's like, you know, we're going to do everything we can, but...
Yeah, we went to Chick-fil-A. I don't remember what day it was, but it was really cold that day, and it didn't take a long time, just as normal as most restaurants going through the drive-thru, but they didn't have the people outside because it was so cold, moving from car to car, so everybody was ordering from the little speaker, which is understandable. But going back to we were talking about when you were in the middle of it reminded me there was a grocery store that they lost power when people were inside shopping, and they couldn't take payment, so they said, just whatever you have, go, just take it. And I know a lot of people took pictures of all the little codes, scan bar, the QR codes, or I guess they're not QR codes, but any of the barcodes, and took it back and said, "Hey, this is what I bought," and they scanned it and went back and paid. But it was something like that where you're frustrated, but they said, "Okay, well, here, just take it, you know, take it home." I don't remember what grocery store it was. I don't know if it was a smaller one or a big chain store. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, at my full-time job at work, my customers do give me slack for that. When I say, sorry, it's just hard to get in. And I mean, they'll go call someone else and they're like, yeah, you're right, it's hard to get in, but it only goes so far. And then it leaves you very, very little room for error, because nobody's perfect. Everybody screws up. So then when your company screws up doing something, not getting a loadout or whatever, you know, it's just frustrating. Yeah. But, you know, small businesses losing business over that's a lot bigger deal than Walmart losing business.
The culture we're in, this cancel culture that we have going on now, that every time somebody makes a mistake, you want to cancel and put them out of business. You want to, you know, boycott them to the fullest extent. You know, so it does make it tough when you're business, that you have to do everything right so that somebody doesn't boycott you and put you on social media and make you out to be a bad person either.
I know, and it's hard because I'd never do something like that unless it was like blatant bad customer service or something. Customer service is everything. All the other crap, you know, getting something wrong, something like if you get something wrong on my order and you make it right, not a big deal. I don't care. It's when you're rude or something about it, then I might post something. I mean, I even told you, I posted on Facebook when we ordered a pizza and it was just the crust, nothing else, absolutely nothing on it. And we called them and they brought us the pizza within like 10 minutes and it was fixed, and they gave us a coupon and all that. And I even on Facebook when I posted, I didn't tell anybody who it was. I wasn't going to badmouth them. I just thought it was funny. And I think I told you who it was, but they fixed it. You know, it was, I don't know how that gets past whatever checking process you have at a pizza place. I don't know. There was one time they even forgot to put meat on my hamburger at a certain restaurant, which I could probably tell them because it's a huge restaurant. Who cares? And I went up there and I'm like, I'm getting something for free. I'm pissed because I had already went. I think we were moving or something that day, and I drove all the way there, got the food all the way back. And so I went inside, and I may have told this story before, I don't know, but they say, "Oh man, that's nothing." One time we forgot the bread. I'm like, how do you forget the bread on a hamburger? Like, I can see the meat. Like, however, I've never worked at a fast food joint, whatever. You're just going, you look at it, okay, whatever. That's sort of this place with small patties. But how do you look at that and forget the bread? And they made me laugh. They gave me my free food and gave me a coupon again, and whatever. I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm not going to badmouth someone if they're going to make it right, because people make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. You would hope in your business that somebody would give you the opportunity. I know I've talked about, making mistakes in the past of my business, and, it cost me money to make it right, but I actually ended up gaining a lifetime customer to this day out of it. So.
And we're not advocating that you stay with somebody. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work out. You screw up and they're like, man, I lost a job. I can't do it. But we're talking more on just blasting them on the internet or whatever, which can be a big deal for small businesses. Yeah. The same with a little off topic, but if you like a small doctor's office who they have their own practice, you say whatever you want about them. They legally can't comment back and say anything, even if it's 100% a lie, just because of, what is it? What are the law? You're not supposed to talk about patient HIPAA, yeah, HIPAA. So just companies like that, and sometimes like when you're talking about Yelp and all those little ones, that's not something you necessarily. It's not like a website or something somebody's constantly monitoring. Like on Facebook, you can give someone a bad review. They'll probably go on there and, I don't know, I've never had a bad review on Facebook, but delete it or say something about it, get in a Facebook argument. But things like Yelp and Google review and whatever else there is, they say whatever and they may not even see it. Yeah. And people don't go on there. That's why I get, when you look at a product or a service and it's got a few bad reviews, like, well, it's going to have more bad reviews than good reviews most of the time, because if you have good service or it does what it's supposed to do, you're not really going to go say, hey, this was a great product. It's only if it goes above and beyond for you. But then if there's something kind of wrong with it, and it may not even be their fault. It may just be you misinterpreted what it was.
Instantly you're going to go on and start bashing them.
That's what, especially when you have a CDL, you tell someone, hey, I think I'm going to go work here, and that's when it comes out. Oh no, you don't want to go work there. It's like you were talking about with the cancel culture. I mean, sometimes someone has a bad thing, and it's just they're against that. I mean, we know that with our brother. I don't know. He didn't go and bash people on the internet, but he'll think something's amazing, some piece of technology, and then he's done with it. Never. Like he used to love iPhone. Like iPhone's complete. Like that's a leper over there. You don't mess with it. He has Google phone or whatever he has now. Yeah. And it's just funny how some of that works. Like I will never do that. Or Ford and Chevy people. Yeah. Like I've driven Fords and Chevys. I'm more of a Chevy guy, but like I'm not saying Ford or Chevy one's better than the other. They're both quality trucks. Yeah. It's like the two most popular truck brands in the United States, or probably the world. Yeah. It's like, no, Ford can't suck that bad or Chevy can't suck that bad. It's just a preference.
It's a preference, yeah. And it's about your experience that you had with them.
Yeah. Yeah. But some people are like, nope, won't drive, or just a particular brand. I won't do it. Yeah. No chance. I'm like, well, that's okay. It's your opinion, but that's weird.
Yeah. No, and not being open-minded. So, I mean, with all the winter weather that came through Texas and Oklahoma, and I guess some other states that had some issues.
Nebraska was bad. I saw somebody, it was about a week before it came here, and they had cracked an egg, and it was frozen before it even left it, and they just set it there, and it stood up with the egg still, the shell still cracked. It was pretty crazy. Of course, they get weather like that up in Nebraska, more than here in Texas.
But, with all the small businesses, the way they struggle, well, we say we struggle. We don't know for sure, but I mean, if you're shut down for essentially a week, whether you had power, you had any utilities at all, you were basically shut down. I mean, everything.
Or even if you're open, but nobody else is coming.
Yeah, nobody's coming
because no one's driving.
How could you prepare for that?
Well, hopefully you're a little bit more prepared just from COVID if you were able to rebound.
I think that's
savings, really.
Yeah,
that's the number one is savings.
That's a big point. If you were able to rebound through COVID and hopefully start to build your business in a way to sustain something like that you could take being down for a week, you know, and still make your payroll, still, you know, survive yourself.
I mean, look who your competition is.
Yeah.
In the broader sense, you know, like Walmart's or Brookshire's, if you're a grocery store, just try to emulate what they do a little bit. I know it frustrated me, but grocery stores were still opening. They didn't never close down for an entire day, but they would open late and close early.
Yeah.
So sometimes if that helps you, it just depends what business you have. But if it helps you, like you could be open for an hour and it still gets you money.
Yeah.
Just open for what you can.
Yeah. Well, for somebody like for myself, I mean, we were out of power a lot of the time, but it did give me an opportunity to get some production done in some of the stuff that I had prepped and pre-printed and pre-cut, that I could finalize that.
Exactly.
You know, it gave me a little of that time that
you were behind on clerical type stuff.
I could take care of some of that, and I was able to do that and get myself caught up for the next week, because coming back into it, this week's going to be a really busy week, and a lot of people are going to want you to still be
shut down, but there's stuff you can do and to stay productive.
So, you know, that was something, and maybe that's something for businesses going forward, just to think about with any type of weather, you know, whether it's winter weather or, you know, tornado season or hurricane season or anything, is think about some things that maybe you could get prepped ahead, put in a little extra before. That way, maybe it would give you something in plan. Okay, if I'm out of power, I can at least do this, or whatever.
Just always have to-do list of things you need to get done, which I assume most people do have that. And, you know, where you're just kind of managing it, where, okay, I can just do a little bit of this, but then when something like that happens, you already know, okay, well, what can I do right now? I have everything here, what am I able to do?
If you need to go through and run budgets, you need to run numbers, you need to input invoices, maybe you need to get some billing type stuff worked out, quotes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you still could do to be productive during that time and take advantage of the downtime you have.
And if you're able, or you're in a position to do some sort of charitable thing, like you were talking about.
Yeah, D-Rays.
With D-Rays is, I mean, he may not have been thinking this way, but that was great advertising for him.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just great PR. I mean, not that he expected us to talk about it or people on Facebook to share it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had the means to go get water and take it to people, and now people are going to remember that. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure at least one of the people that he was able to give water to thought, okay, if I ever need anything detailed, I'm going with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're going to gain customers for life for that. You know, and I think we shouldn't all, I mean, we should just want to give and help people out anyways, not just to help our business out. But, you know, maybe that's a good way to repurpose your time when you are going to be down. It's just have it set, if this happens again, hey, I'm going to get out in my community. I'm just going to help my community. That's it.
Yeah, because
whatever comes from it, but I'm just going to, it's always right to do the right thing. It's never wrong to do the right thing.
Because when you have an entity, a business, you, for the most part, in most cases, have means that individual people don't.
Yeah.
Just because you have a business, so whether it's you have inventory in stock or whatever. In this case, he had a water trailer that he probably wouldn't have if he wasn't detailing. Why would he have that? Yeah. That's just something you could think about to keep. There's the benefits, like we said, of the good PR and everything, but it's something to keep you busy too. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes when you're doing nothing, you can drive yourself nuts in the sense of a business. You're just freaking out. Like, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. It's that you just want to be productive, and you're just, as soon as you know that roads melt, I'm going and doing this. But you keep busy doing that other stuff, and everything else will work itself out.
Yeah. I mean, like my business, I was able to do that. You know, you could work on your inventory. You know, maybe even just for me, I was able to spend a lot of time because we were out of power. Devices started dying. We could charge them in our cars, you know, and I did that a few times, but just to get a kind of more so to get a little charge for emergency purposes. Mm-hmm. I was able to spend a lot of time just thinking, right, just kind of sulking in my emotions and my thoughts, and really gaining a good perspective for going forward with my business, you know. And sometimes you do need that in business as well. You can't just go. Sometimes you need to take a step back. You know, and for me, this was a good time to do that.
Yeah, it was a real relaxing time. I mean, for me. I knew as soon as things cleared up, I'd be getting calls.
Yeah.
When am I getting this? When's this on schedule for? What's it? And for the most part, my customers were good about that, where they didn't contact me really at all through. We had a couple of texts, random texts for some other reason, but they knew, okay, nothing's happening, so we'll just wait. But it was like opening a gate. Friday got flooded with calls. But that's a time when you just relax, spend time with your family, knowing, hey, shit's gonna hit the fan Friday.
It's going to. You might as well.
So you might as well relax and clear your mind. And whether it was like you thinking about business, just things in general, prepping, whatever it is. I mean, these are pretty much just bland blanket statements or advice, I guess. It really depends what kind of business you had and if you did have power and water and were able to open. You know, some people were opening their doors. Hey, if you need warmth, just come in here. I know there were some gyms that are saying just come shower, do whatever. You don't need to be a member. We're shutting down the gym itself. Just, we have come shower, grab. I think some were giving away hot dogs or whatever. They had hot dogs cooked up. Grab a hot dog and fill up your water jug before you go home, and just things like that. But
that's great. I mean,
like I said, I guarantee at least one person thought, if I'm going to get a gym membership, I'm coming here.
Yeah. Yeah, it never hurts.
Yeah.
It's never going to hurt your business.
Yeah, I'm not saying do that for that purpose, but there's always those extra perks.
It's never going to hurt. I mean, doing the right thing, doing what D-Ray did, isn't going to hurt. I mean, any opportunity you have, I'm part of a group which I had things going on trying to take care of my own family, but the barbecue group that I'm a part of, a charity barbecue group, those guys went out and they cooked. I gave them some of the meat that I had that we were going to have to do something with because our freezers were down. The food was still frozen, but passed that on to them to cook and to give out to churches and other places. They did a big thing. The Meat Meisters did by getting out and donating and just doing what was right.
Yeah, because it's interesting that most grocery stores had no meat, and they were giving away free cooked meat.
Yeah.
And then D-Ray's was giving away water, and then most stores didn't have water. It's like what you should do instead of price gouging. Like it's all moral compass. Like, what would you do? And whatever your religious beliefs are or not, I think everyone pretty much believes in karma.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you just think like, even if it's something really small that nobody's ever going to know, and you're just like, hey, I just can't do that. It's going to bother the crap out of me. But some people just do it. Like, they didn't have to do that. Nobody was going to blast them for not helping out.
No.
They're not the government, but people thought that should have been able to help out more.
I think the only people under heat right now is ERCOT, which I didn't even know really existed until this.
Yeah, I
didn't know anything about ERCOT.
Texas had their own power grid. It was the east of the United States, west United States, and Texas. Those were the three power grids. But I didn't know that they were called ERCOT or anything like that. But things might change with that. I don't know.
I know the change is going to be at my household, that I'm not going to rely on them. I'm going to have my own power source set up. That's going to happen, and that's going to help my business as well. We'll still be able to operate.
And that too, there are businesses, whether small or big, that are out there. I heard people blasting on Facebook, why are these people's lights on? They're not even open. You have to understand, a lot of those places have generators that, for this reason, they're not stealing any power. I know somebody was talking about Tractor Supply and here in Burleson, and they said, just looking at that building, they don't have a generator. Like, they probably do. They sell generators. I think they probably have a generator. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure there were some people out there that just never lost power and they kept their lights on.
You have to think also, I saw some people blasting restaurants and banks for some of their parking lot and outside lighting. You also have to keep in mind that those are all on automatic systems, automatic timers.
Yeah. So
it would actually take somebody physically to go there and turn off. It's not just flipping a switch. You would physically have to go into the system and do it. And the way the road conditions were, it was likely that nobody could even get there to do that.
Yeah, I was thinking that there was one. It's just it used to be a car lot. There's nothing there. It's just empty, and their lights were on. But I mean, that's a safety thing too, because at night you want lights on in general, so they have the timers on, and it does because there's no street lights right there.
Yeah.
It lights up that part of the road. Just in general, more light is safe than just driving on dark roads. But like you said, who's going to take the time to drive out, turn those lights off, and then probably hurt themselves? And really, you got to figure out how much it helps, because if you're just talking about lights, really they're not. They're pretty efficient. Lights are pretty efficient these days.
Yeah, no,
it's not going to take off a whole bunch. You're talking about heating homes and cooking food and things like that. We're not saying everybody's innocent, but I think people can find other things to complain about.
Well, at least a situation like this, which it's sad that it takes something like this and for lives to be lost to expose the issues we have, and for people to understand what they need to do to take care of themselves.
It has to take something like this, though, because like I talked earlier about the, big companies getting priority over smaller companies, which when you break it down makes more sense. Whether it's right or not, you can have a whole ethical discussion about it, but nobody really bats an eye. Like, well, they get their stuff when they're supposed to, and they can live with that. But then when something like this happens, and the big guys get pushed back a couple of days and the little guys get pushed back a week or two, what are you gonna what are you gonna do? It exposes it, and you can fix it or not. But we're in a world that money talks, size talks, and we go back to relying on the government. All you can do is have government, whatever you want to call it, suggestions or guidances on protecting this person and this person, and we can talk about government regulations all day long, all you want, but in reality, those big companies are for government regulation. I mean, you think it's the opposite. No, they want no government, but the big companies write the regulations on government, and that's where the money goes. I mean, there's a reason the 5 biggest banks in the world are the 5 biggest banks in the world, and it's been that way forever. Because they write the regulations to stop the little banks from growing and getting bigger and taking over. So the big guys can talk about free market all they want, but they're and you go back to the investment part, or Robin Hood and all those. Yeah, they're all for a free market. Then when the little guys start investing, they said, no, we need government intervention to stop all this too.
Which we do. I mean, that's part of where the price gouging comes in. I mean, if it was 100% free market, what do you do? If somebody wants to charge double, they charge double. It's fine. You decide if you want to shop there or not. But at a certain point, especially in a disaster situation like this, you at least need them to come in and say, no, you guys can't just jack up the price. There has to be limits on, if this isn't what you normally charge, you can't just jack up the price on people. Yeah, that's government regulation. But then you're also talking about, well, the government needs to make sure our power stays on and water, which I don't, you wouldn't think that's a crazy thing to ask, but there's a fine line between there. You want government involved, but you don't want it too involved, because then that's when you get when you're completely reliant on them. Yeah. So going back, tying this to small business, which I think we've done a pretty good job of, is to, the government, I don't even know the words, what we're saying. Don't rely on the government too much. Have your backup plan. Yeah. It's not crazy to assume. It's something to think about, maybe even for businesses that need to stock product or stock goods to create their products. For some of the businesses we know, maybe it's a good plan to keep extra stock, if not all the time, at least through, the winter time, or times when something like this is possible, to make sure you are stocked up. Yeah, because it's economics 101. Supply and demand. I mean, if you only have this amount of customers, you buy that amount of stock to cover that customers, maybe a little bit more. That's what everyone was following. And then this happens. Everybody, I think it's more the consumer, some of the consumers overstocking, because I think our supply chains do a great job. We saw it with COVID. I think they did as good job as they can, but people are buying way too much stuff. Just because it's going to snow this weekend doesn't mean you have to buy 10 loaves of bread and 20 gallons of milk. No, I mean, you could look at the forecast and know that it wasn't going to be more than a week long. So buy enough for a week, like you
And when
normally
you go
would.
to a gas station and people say, okay, gas is getting low, and then a truck comes and delivers gas, and okay, I don't mind waiting a few minutes. Everyone needs gas. They're getting what they can. It's smart. Keep enough fuel. But there's people with multiple 5-gallon gas cans filling them all up. Like, dude, like it's a snowstorm. You're not going to drive that much. Just, fill up your car or overhead. Just make sure you have over halfway. And, this little guy over here probably has to go to work every day. He can't, not everyone's closing.
Yeah.
And he just needs a full tank of gas, and that's all he wants, or maybe half a tank just to make it to work.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too. But you can only, the big companies are big companies for a reason. They're being successful for a reason. If they know they sold this much of this product, they might be able to have, if they have multiple locations, they buy this big bulk of it to get a cheaper price, and then they distribute it out.
Mm-hmm.
If store A's selling 50 of whatever and store B's selling 100, you're sending more over there because that's where the demand is.
Mm-hmm.
So when your store A runs out quicker and the store B runs out, people are getting mad. Like, well,
yeah, it's hard to plan. Even for me, I knew some of this was kind of coming. I didn't know it was going to be at this level. I didn't stock up on additional firewood, and I ended up running out for my home. I purchased some products. Like I said, I ordered some materials to stock up on my shop. Well, I guess I ordered them a couple days too late because now they're tied up, because they were in transit when all this hit. So, you plan, but, I think preparedness is big. And to make sure for your business, to tie it back into a business sense, make sure your business is prepared for anything at any time. Don't let your stocks get so low like I did, where it's like, it's fine. We're slow right now. It's a slower time of year for us. It's not a big deal, but
Yeah, and I guess it did completely screw you over because that's not something. It's not like a good or a commodity that people needed.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm sure your customers understood. They're like, because the winter storm covered half the country, if not more.
Yeah.
So everybody was kind of dealing with this, but I saw stores were posting on Facebook at, each individual location, hey, we just got shipment into this. We just, we're low on this or whatever, which is good to keep people from driving from store to store to store, just checking stock. But, people have to understand that's, like I said, it's economics 101.
Yeah. That's
what happens. And those big companies can spend the extra money to keep stuff in stock, but, with perishable items, it's hard. But small businesses, they may not have that extra money. They're trying to decide if they should put money in savings because they could get shut down again because of COVID.
Yeah. Or
spend it to have products that they can sell, or who knows? Like you said, especially in Texas, it's like this is a once out of every 10-year type of storm.
Yeah.
We were seeing temperatures not seen since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yep. So what do we got here, man? We're talking about commodities and...
Yeah, so if you're a fan of Business and Beyond podcast, which I highly recommend, obviously because I'm on the show, we usually do product reviews, and apologies to Nick because we were supposed to do this last week, but he sells for Amway, and we're going to have his link posted below where you can buy from him. And he sent me some items. We have little energy type drinks. They are for energy, but they're more, I'm going to try to stay here on the mic. If you aren't familiar with a lot of Amway products, there's health benefits to them. They're not just like crap energy drinks like Monster. We have a few different flavors here. These ones you got.
Yeah, so this is the
Mocha
XS.
Yeah.
Amway XS.
That one's yours. You can try.
Energy Cafe Mocha.
And thanks to Nick who provided.
Look at that if we can get it to focus there.
These are better when they're really cold. I had these in the fridge, but we've had them out here the whole show. If you ever had a Monster energy drink, the Mocha, that's kind of what it tastes like, yeah. But it tastes like any of your cold coffee. I guess you could put it over ice if you like that.
Yeah, that is good.
And we have 3 other ones.
It's
These are
not quite as sweet,
I
think, as the Monster ones.
Yeah, because you're not going to have all the sugar and stuff in there.
It doesn't have all the sugar in it, yeah.
So this one's tropical is the flavor. the blue one. That's a sound bite right there, dude, right in the mic. Yeah, this one really looks like an energy drink. I should have filled it up that much. We got a couple more to taste.
This one's got a little sweeter kick to it.
But it didn't have that strong...
No, the strong
after,
energy
like you
drink.
get with energy drink, yeah. Which I kind of enjoy, but that's all the bad crap that's in it.
Actually,
I'm going to have to down this.
Really, I mean, this isn't... Not just because they sent this to us to try. This is really good.
And these are the only ones of these flavors. So I've had a couple of these mocha, which are really good. I'm going to have to get some from them. 10 calories each. I can get that out of a Monster. Well, this one has 10 calories. I haven't tried all of them.
This one is actually 120 calories. It says real milk, real coffee.
That is a big difference.
Real cocoa.
What is this one in? These ones are 10 calories, these light ones.
Yeah. What is this one?
Tim and Art. I can't. There's a glare on it. As you can see, it's pretty clear. It kind of looks like whiskey. More of a pretty fruity.
It's like fruity, like almost apple juice. It smells like.
It's good. Give you a little bit of kick.
Yeah, so I can say that these are not too sweet, not too much sugar.
What's the other one? Is grape, wild berry. My gosh, I'm gonna be up all night drinking all this. I think I like this one better. They're all pretty good. That got just a distinct taste and not too strong.
No, they really are all good.
And then obviously with this back here, XS is the brand that quick dissolving pods, like your whey protein. Oh yeah, you can't. There's a little bit of glare on there. But there's a QR code here too. On these two, I think most of the products have those. It'll take you straight to his website, but we'll have the link below. These like your protein powder, but they're little pods you put in. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, the directions on there. But you put them in whatever you...
The shaker.
Yeah, the shaker. And then you just pour milk or water or whatever on them, and they can pretty much dissolve.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. I know the one I use, it's protein powder. And so I'll put it in and take it with me to work because I'm going to work out after work. And it's pretty messy sometimes if you don't pour the water in there right. It can splash everywhere with that protein, that powder, and sometimes it's hard to shake it up when it's just been sitting in your cup all day. These pods are pretty cool. And it doesn't say you have to refrigerate them. I hadn't had it refrigerated. It's just sitting there. Maybe after you open them.
It looks like they have of this XS line. They have other products as well, not just the energy. I'll have sparkling waters.
Yeah, we'll have the link down below where you can see all this on his page.
Yeah, they've got all these products, so I mean, check them out. I thought they were good.
Yeah, keep drinking. They're all open. I'm not going to waste them.
Yeah, and I think anyone else that wants a product reviewed like this, let us know. I mean, these are all blind reactions. This is the first time we tasted them.
Well, I tasted the coffee one before. I've had a couple of these, but other than that, yeah, I haven't tried any of this stuff before this show. And he also sent me some vitamins. That's kind of hard to. Like I can just drink, I can just swallow them. That's about it.
Yeah.
But
well, we'll continue to follow up on these products, and let you guys know, what our thoughts are on them. You can follow if you follow us on Facebook. You can continue if you're taking the vitamins and let everyone know what you think.
Yeah, I started taking them right before this winter storm, so who knows? I'm gonna have to get back in a groove, and I'll tell you how it affects me. But yeah, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or even on whatever podcast app you're listening on. Just send us a message. We can get in contact with us, and all you have to do is tell us, hey, I want a product review, and then we'll ask all the important questions. Don't be afraid to reach out to us.
Yeah, and make sure you are following us on all of our social media outlets. We're going to have some big news coming up here. I guess maybe the next week or so. We should have
hopefully sooner than that, but yeah.
A pretty big announcement coming, so make sure you guys are following. We told you we were going to think a lot of big things were coming this year, and they are. Everything's falling right into place just like we had hoped.
It's 2021. I mean, sorry to say 2020 was a bad year for us. It wasn't at all, but it was the first year of the podcast. So,
yeah, we're
if
coming
anything,
up on
it helped.
We're coming up on our 1 year.
Yeah, next month, and it really had a solid base started, and I think 2021 we're growing a lot more, a lot quicker.
Yeah,
and that's part of what's coming down the pipes.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks to Nick Jimenez for providing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Links down below to buy from him. And with that, I'm Ashton.
And I'm Tony.
We'll see you guys next time.
Appreciate it.